Hit it. Dude, I like that. That's, yeah.
Welcome to the Grappling With podcast. Dr. Chris Hardy and William Walker will take a deep dive into topics covering wellness and prevention, performance, recovery, and injury management. Our mission is to provide the latest science-based information to help you get the most out of your grappling journey, both on and off the mats, and help you overcome any challenges you may be grappling with. Dr. Hardy is a licensed physician and BJJ practitioner, but the contents of the podcast are meant for educational purposes only and should not be taken as medical advice. Please seek out personalized care from your own medical provider prior to implementing any medical treatment or intervention.
It's soft.
Oh.
It's a soft sweater.
It is soft.
Get in there.
Dude, that's nice.
Get in there.
Man, Aurelius, props to the fabric, bro.
All knowledge journey. All knowledge jiu-jitsu.
Well, oh yeah, we're going, aren't we?
We are.
Nice.
If I make any crass jokes, I'm sorry. Don't hold them against my friends, family, or loved ones.
Or pets or anything
pets,
like that.
Frank and Penny want nothing to do with it.
Yeah.
Okay.
They've disavowed you a long time
Professor
ago. Anyway.
Andrew wants none of it. Disconnect. Hi.
Hello.
So, today, we're going to talk about 2023, our goals in life, our goals physically and mentally.
Nice. That's coming up next week.
It is. It's coming up quick, actually.
I think that's on Sunday?
Is it the first?
Yeah. Sunday's the first.
Something's on the weekend there.
It's Thursday right now. Okay.
So, we're going to basically kind of go over what personally we have in mind. Even Olivia's going to jump in of what we're hoping to accomplish in 2023 and how we're going to do that.
I like it.
Okay. But before we get into that, we had a couple questions on the YouTubes. That I want to bring up because they are follow-up questions from the actual episodes.
Okay.
So let me just start with one real quick. And it's a follow-up question on skill acquisition. Mm-hmm. So the question is, are morning classes in general a better idea for skill acquisition rather than evening ones? Assuming most people work during the day, they're saying that most people are either working hard physically for the whole day or they fry their brains behind a laptop and during stressful meetings. By the time evening class comes around, the stress cup is pretty full.
Yeah, I like it. I like the reference too to the stress cup. Yeah. You know, that's one of those things that depends on your situation, right? And what you're doing. I would completely agree if you have a really hard physical job. Mm-hmm. That kind of falls into almost like what we talked about in that episode of, working out hard before and trying to get skill acquisition. What's interesting though is it hasn't been studied, but I think that's a good point. Whoever this person is made that the so-called mental stress or, using a lot of brain energy, so to speak, still contributes to allostatic load. I don't think that's been studied as far as skill acquisition, as far as physical skill acquisition. That's a really interesting question. I would speculate that it does.
Yeah.
That'd be a cool study.
Like a 6 a.m. class could be.
It depends. If you take me to a 6 a.m. class, I'm not a morning person.
You're worthless.
Yeah, I kind of am. Mid-morning, I probably would be good. For me, I think if I had to optimize my day, I think like right before lunch would be perfect for me.
Like 11 o'clock.
Yeah.
Mondays and Wednesdays.
Just happens to coincide with your day class.
CascadeJujitsu.com.
Yeah. Professor William Walker.
Watch your mouth.
Yeah.
Okay, so good to know. Second question. We're just going to buzz through them.
All right. I like it.
A little bit of a story on this one, it seems. But they have a follow-up question to the guy that hurt his neck, which, remember, Mark, he's the one that...
Are we talking about the dissection?
Yes.
Okay.
So they listened to that episode.
Yeah.
It was cool that Mark jumped on and kind of clarified some of that stuff.
That was awesome.
But they had kind of a follow-up question. And they say, we see a lot of stacking tight submissions like guillotines where people just are yanking with all their juice and all their might that they've got, slamming on the neck in professional grappling and MMA matches. Yet I am about to hear about someone getting seriously injured. It is very rare, as in this person that we talked about, Mark. Could one of the reasons be that those athletes that do strength and functional training build muscles, some getting even, they're juiced up steroids and all that kind of stuff, but they've built a good base of muscle. And all those rock hard muscle, do those rock hard muscles protect their joints and arteries? They said they have a colleague who is a semi-pro cyclist and works out like an athlete. He got hit by a car recently, and the doctor said that his back muscles saved him from severe spine injury that would paralyze him. And they were wondering, is this legit? And is it worth getting things like the iron neck to get those vulnerable areas worked out and built up with strength with muscles to limit chances of severe injury?
Yeah.
So a couple in there.
Great questions. So there is definitely something to having a support system for your spine, especially in the neck. I don't know how a cyclist is building up huge back muscles, but okay.
Yeah.
But
well, like maybe he supplements some other stuff.
Like a power lifter or someone like that. I know my powerlifting mentor, Marty Gallagher, got into a pretty bad motor vehicle accident, and they said basically his neck strength probably, and it's just speculative, of course, but certainly if you have that, the spine will kind of just bend.
Yeah.
It doesn't have its own intrinsic, it can't move itself. It needs muscular support, right? And those deep stabilizers and muscles are really, really important. Matter of fact, people that do have weaker spinal support muscles tend to develop a degenerative spine quicker, right? Because you're basically hanging on these joints without support. As far as resilience and grappling, yes. First of all, you don't hear a lot of acute injuries, but you do see cumulative injuries. And we see these all the time. MMA, especially high-level grapplers that do lots of inversion and things like that, you hear about them having neck problems all the time, but it's usually cumulative.
Hickson, Eddie Bravo.
Exactly.
These are maybe not just inversion people, but like Hickson, he was actually quite flexible when you watch the videos back in the day, but he was doing full-on MMA.
That's my point. And look at his Pride matches.
Right.
Okay. So it's, I think Eddie Bravo is a better example.
Yeah.
For back and stuff like that too.
I know Laborio's pretty frozen up too.
Yeah, man, the cumulative thing is the problem. Now, to answer your question, things like iron neck, it doesn't have to be iron neck, but isometric strength building in various angles. Iron neck, I think, does it great because it rotates. You can hit a lot of odd angles, but you could do the same thing with you could rig up a band system. It wouldn't be as kind of elegant.
How much are the iron necks?
They're pretty expensive. I think they're more than that now. And I
500.
I'd have to look, man. Jeez. They're like 3 or 4, I think. And to me, that's
I'll try to find it.
I have one, but I got one years ago when they kind of first came out.
Sure.
And I got it cut through my strength and conditioning circles. I wanted to try something. I try a lot of gadgets out.
Yeah.
And it's one that I've stuck with.
That's the benefit of being your friend.
Yeah, because I try a lot of gadgets out.
Yeah, and then it's like,
and the ones I like, I'll hold on to. The ones I don't, at least I can give some good recommendations on them. That's one I think is great. Do you have a price on it right now, Liv?
Yeah, it looks like depending on the generation, it's anywhere from on the low end $299 upwards to $499.
That seems preposterous to me. I mean, this is a perfect time for, I don't know about the patent laws and all that, but a competitor would be a good thing to have.
Right.
Something similar. The good thing about the iron neck is it provides that halo kind of system where have you tried it on? Yeah. Where you can position your neck in these little micro increments and kind of hit all the little angles and really isometrically strengthen, which is what I would recommend when strengthening the neck. I'm not a fan of those things where you're actively folding and you've seen those in the gym where you put your head in and you do like neck curls almost.
Yeah.
Not a fan of that.
I've seen Neil Melanson.
Yeah, and a lot of people will swear by him, but I don't think it's a good idea. You're putting a lot of compressive forces on the disc like that.
He was doing that before the iron neck.
Yeah.
Now he uses that, but
I think that I think the iron neck isometrics are a much better way to train the neck. And yes, I think it can make you more resilient.
Building a strong muscle base.
Because if you think about what we're doing with guillotine, like if you get in a guillotine, if someone has a guillotine on you, you're not sitting there like thrashing their body around using just your neck strength. You're basically trying to hold your neck in position, right? It's that isometric strength that's important. Know when to tap. There's no shame in that. And by all means, avoid getting stacked as much as possible, because that is that kind of compressive force. Yeah. So, no, I think there's a lot to that. And I think people don't train their necks enough. You see people do like wrestling bridges and stuff like that. Not a fan.
Over the hyperextension.
No, it's the loading of the but think of what you're doing with that. Whether it's, you've seen them do, like forward and reverse.
Yeah. And then they'll do little donut like.
Sure, I get it, but it's a lot of compressive force on the spine. Okay, I'm not a fan of that. That's why I don't do. This is heresy to some, but that's why I don't do regular squats anymore. I do belt squats now. As you're getting into your late 40s or in 50s, my personal opinion is I don't want to load my spine that much.
I just saw a fellow jiu-jitsu practitioner, Greg Anderson.
Yeah,
he just got I think a hex bar.
Yeah.
And
for deadlifts?
Yeah, he said that he has avoided deadlifts for years because of some back stuff. And he said now that he's gotten that for Christmas, he got it.
Nice.
He's like, I genuinely feel like I'm not risking an injury.
Well, the hex bar, it's very much, do you remember us when we were doing the strength training podcast? I talked about why I like the sumo deadlift better than the conventional one for this. One of them is the reduced shear stress, that the angle of your back is.
You had me doing box squats too.
I did. And that's a whole nother topic, right? But hex bar is great because you can get more of an upright posture with the spine. You don't get as much shear force on the spine.
Because it's basically around you.
It's around you. You're stepping through it.
You still have handles almost like you're picking up suitcases.
Correct. I love the hex bar. I can't find one that fits. I have like Tyrannosaur arms, and every time I find a hex bar, it's like almost I'm barely reaching the handles.
Oh, so you have to get like really low.
Yeah, not even that. The one I had it's just
they're wide.
They're wide, and I almost need like a mini hex bar or something for short arms or a longer. I don't handle. I like those.
Get someone to weld one up for you.
I probably could. The belt squat machine's the best thing I've ever bought, as far as just traditional strength training, because now all the weight's on my hips, and I'm still getting a big load on my lower extremities without as much spinal compression.
Got it.
How much weight can that thing handle?
I haven't tested quite a bit though, probably more than I'll ever be able to do, and I can hook bands on it too to get that to alter the force curve.
Yeah.
Like kind of the West Side Barbell approach. Yeah.
So whoever's asking this question, get your doughy butt in the gym and start putting some muscle on.
It's always good, man. I mean, and neck especially. Neck and feet are the most undertrained parts of us, I think.
Good.
Cool.
That's all the questions on YouTube.
Those are good questions. I like it.
I think there was some others, but we're gonna pause there.
Okay.
Move on. 2023 goals. There's a reason that this is a big one, because someone became a professor. That's you. You are now shut your mouth, a black belt under Professor Andrew Solheim.
Let's be honest. I'm a black belt. We have a professor.
That's true. Has anybody called you professor? Oh no, you haven't come to class yet.
No, you're so full of crap.
Quit jiu-jitsu.
No, I have. I have been, and they're
you and Kyle McAllister.
Oh man,
calling him on the carpet. Get your black belt.
I was just there, dude.
When?
Saturday and Monday.
He was. I wasn't even there on Saturday.
Oh my
gosh.
gosh,
I know he was there.
Christmas Eve, son.
Did you do anything?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you as well. I mean, we both got promoted the same day.
We did.
And someone a little sooner than the other one.
Oh, there it is. There it is.
I had to say it because someone was going to put some money on it.
There was already money on it, and Lawrence won.
Yeah.
And let's just say no one's surprised. So,
yeah. So, I mean, we're saying that because I don't know. It's a different perspective, maybe.
I think it can be.
Yeah.
And I think hopefully maybe people will take out of this at whether it's black belt, white belt, blue, anywhere in between. If your goal is to get better at jiu-jitsu, put a little bit of a roadmap out there.
Yeah.
New year, new you. Doesn't have to be. But at least get some organization down.
I would even say I do it with quarterly goals. So, right. So I'll have the first 3 months. I'm going to map it out like that. And it's very individual. I have some things that I'll talk about whenever, whoever wants to go first on this, that are, I think, unique to my needs, but I think could help some other people that may be in similar age demographics, maybe.
Well, I think I want to start with you because I know that you're going to touch on some of that stuff. And I think that's really beneficial. So if you can go and kick it off
Sure.
What are you looking for in 2023 goals wise? Like, what are you looking to accomplish? And that's kind of like a open question, right? And then a couple of things that you're talking about with demographic, your age and stuff.
Yeah. And I think that's the first thing to start to kind of give a context to why I have the goals I have. December 26th, earlier this week, I had my 53rd birthday. I will tell you just something I've struggled with for years, especially after starting jiu-jitsu. I really noticed it. So first of all, for what it was, I was a fairly athletic person, military diver, culture fitness my whole life. Whether it's mountain biking, rock climbing, surfing, whatever, I've always...
Whatever you did pretty aggressively.
Obsessively, I would say.
Right.
Yeah, because I wanted to get the best. It's always a challenge. You always want to be a white belt at something, right? And really work that until you feel like, something that you'll never... there's never an end to that road. Anyway, my point is, because I know my athletic performance pretty damn well. I know what my weaknesses are. I know what my strengths are. I kind of know where I sit, like in sprinting, endurance, weightlifting, the whole 9 yards. I kind of know where I'm at for years. And it used to just annoy me, and I'll be honest to say this, even into my late 30s, I'd hear people that are my age now talking about, oh, well, no, you're just not going to, when you get to my age, blah, blah, blah. Yeah. And I didn't want to hear that crap. It sounded like a bunch of damn excuses to me. And to me, I was still invincible. And I was going to stay the way I'm at. There's no reason in my mind I thought I would fall off, right? And it's a stupid thing, but it's just, you don't know until you experience it. You can hear people say, you're like, yeah, that's you, but that's not me, right?
At the same time, as like an earmark, because Olivia and I were talking about this exact thing, and how we were talking with a young buck that's very strong and very in shape and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah,
in his 20s, and my thought was, I mean, they're in their 20s and they're in shape, so they still are in that feeling invincible feeling.
For sure.
Because I've heard the same thing. You're not going to be able to do jiu-jitsu when you get to be 35 or 36 or 38, like as in actively and as much as I do or whatever.
Oh, sure.
Now, perspective has to be changed, because when someone in we'll just call it the secular world,
okay,
the normal world, the
outside of the cult known as jiu-jitsu,
or even health and fitness.
Okay, fair enough.
You are going to have people that are 35, 38, 40 that already feel 53, 54, 55. And then every year, it just compounds. So their perspective is, there's no way you can work out 5 days a week and be 39 like that, or 6 days, 7, or whatever I do. It's just, it seems impossible. They're just waiting for the ball to drop, right?
Well, because they don't have that that level in the first place, so they're waiting on you to crumble.
Right. And now I have no illusions. I'm not going to be able to maintain what I do now, in the next 10 years.
Well, and I want to talk about that too.
Yeah. But the perspective of a lot of people that are not in a fitness lifestyle is how they feel at 35 is that's the norm when it shouldn't be the norm.
But they don't know it.
They know nothing else.
Right. So they have no perspective of what I'm not saying I'm a world class athlete, but let's just say that I think many of us are in the top 1% of the general population.
Right.
I mean,
and there's people that are 50 that they can barely carry their groceries into their house.
So, and I'm going to talk about how I've reframed it and my struggles with this whole thing, and then how that's going to feed into my goals. Now, I've finally come to terms with it. So I was doing, I started jiu-jitsu when I was 45 as a white belt. And I was doing a ton of rock climbing and mountain biking. And I was like, yeah, I'm doing pretty well. But nothing pushed me to that, both, cardiorespiratory endurance, strength, mobility, the full package that a combat sport like jiu-jitsu does. And what I started noticing over the couple years between 45 and 50 especially is a marked drop-off in performance. My own internal bar of what I thought I should be doing, or my recovery. I'm like, what is going on here? Because I used to work out 5-6 days a week, no problem. I mean, it wasn't even a question. It's like, oh, really? You're taking a break? Right. I might take 1, maybe 2 days a week, kind of an active recovery, but most of them, and so. But I've started noticing, I'm like, man, I'm getting overtrained. I'm getting sick. What the heck is going on with me? And, everyone's like, dude, you're freaking 45 years old. I'm like, yeah, shut up, whatever. I've been in denial for almost 8 years. Not denial, but I didn't want to hear that. Because I still have that mentality. You brought up that younger guy you were talking to. That's still my mentality. But I felt like I was being betrayed by my body. And that is not a good thing. And then you start looking at weird mortality things and like this isn't supposed to happen to me. Right. And it's really, and it shouldn't. If I was a better adjusted person and not a psychopath, I probably would have come to terms with it a little more, but I'm kind of like the go down fighting type of guy. But what I've realized is why am I fighting this? Why don't I find a better way to deal with it? The inevitable decline. Now let's put that in context. If you compare me right now as a brand new black belt at 53 to someone 28 years old, there's a huge difference in potential performance, recovery, the whole 9 yards, injury prevention. That there's just no contest between the two. That just the way cellular senescence and a bunch of things that are associated with aging are something that can happen. Now, in my own age group, if I pulled 153-year-old guys off the street, I still think I'm in the top 1%. And that's what I've had to come to terms with. But it still always sounds like excuses in my mind. Okay, my biggest concern started being not getting injured. And it never used to be that. Right. Okay. So, and I started doing some of these things to mitigate that, like some of the FRS, knees over toes, building strength at end range, that type of thing. Because if if you're 28 years old and you stop working out for a couple years, you can pick that right back up and build back up those gains. The bottom line is if you start doing that in your late 40s and early 50s and just take off, man, that is so hard to get back. We just don't have that anabolic potential anymore.
Which is, I think, what Rogan said when he hit 50. It was either 45 or 50, that he takes a week off. And he immediately notices how hard it is to just get back to where he was after a week or two.
It's ridiculous. So or coming off an injury or being sick for a while. I just feel like, what the hell? You don't just bounce right. But anyway, so I finally kind of very recently, did a lot of soul searching and came to terms with some of these things. It's not like giving up, but it's like, hey, look, let me redirect my energies. Instead of beating myself up and being pissed and making excuses like, well, I'm just not freaking young anymore, and I can't perform to what I thought my internal bar was, as far as, I can't do 6 hard rolls in a row, right? Well, why not take this opportunity, and for this year especially, is really get down and do what I can excel at. Keep the injury prevention, building strength in the right ways, like in-range strength, and also work on skill development in those minute, like getting those fundamentals to a razor sharp level, like body position, leverage, weight distribution, all these tiny little things that are going to make a difference in my jiu-jitsu than just like, well, I'm just going to get bigger and bigger and stronger and stronger. And
right.
Because what I found is when I do get in a situation and I want to muscle out of it, I get hurt almost every time, right? And I got to stop doing that. But it took a long time for me to get here because I was just like, no, this isn't me. I'm not that person. I'm going to continue to drive forward and just drive through everything. And that's just stupid, right? But, luckily I have a really awesome spouse who will slap me around. I'm like, dude, why don't you take a step back and kind of look at things?
Yeah.
All right. So with all that being said, my goals really are to get more mobility, keep the strength I have as much as possible. I want I don't want these sharp declines. I want to kind of keep what I have as long as I have it. And that means not stopping, but it also means changing how I train. So it's going to be non-negotiable. One time a week, I'm going to do that FRS kind of in-range strength training stuff. And then another day a week on my off day, I'm going to do like a yoga for BJJ type of program.
Yeah.
And still train 3 days a week. And then during that training, be very specific on intentional during rolls. Like instead of forcing positions, I really want to, and not rely on athleticism, I really want to really fine tune some of this, whether it's guard passing, escapes, whatever, the full gamut, but get my fundamentals razor sharp, or sharp as I can get them.
Yeah.
And how I'm gonna divide that out for the week through months probably is I'm gonna have like a little mini 4 to 6 week thing. Okay, I'm gonna work on maintaining mount and all the little, and the submission, everything that comes with maintaining it and all the positions, and being real smart with body position and leverage and things like that, and not so much just, just really thoughtful on how I'm positioning every little piece of the roll. And I think that's gonna be a springboard for me then to kind of put in and put some new things in from each of those positions. Like, if I'm going to work mount for a month, I'm gonna work a bunch of, some of the high percentage things I do, and maybe a couple and get a couple other things in. But that's going to be the primary part of this next year. And sprinkling in, one of the biggest weaknesses I have is my leg lock game. And I want to bring that up to a respectable level. Yeah. So nothing, but really really leaving some of that crap in the past, that baggage I've had, and then kind of redirecting that energy to a smarter way. I mean, do you have any comments on that?
Do you have any competition goals?
Yeah. I want to get over this never-ending winter illness or whatever it is, this respiratory thing, and kind of take a look at what's on the horizon, because I think, it's especially black belt, it doesn't matter. It's because even if you go to people my age group, could even be worse. Then you get a black belt that's been a black belt for 30 years or something, sure. Right?
Oh yeah. I looked up who won black belt masters 3. Oh, okay. Which is what
you were in.
I'd be. And both guys in the finals had 5 degrees on their black belts.
I know.
So
can you imagine where mine is? I think guys like my age group are like Salo Ribeiro or some murderers.
I mean, probably he's younger than you, I think.
Is he?
So
he's probably
close.
He's close. Yeah. He'd be probably close.
But yeah, you can get guys like that.
That's what I'm saying, which is absolutely horrifying to me. Right. So I might even be better like doing the local tournaments and just coming down some age group just to get some competition in because
I mean, you pretty much have to because the age groups are much larger in local tournaments. They do, adult master executive.
I'd probably be one of the older guys but whatever. I mean,
but you're not going against a 3-time world champion,
right? Well, it depends. I'm gonna feel that out, see how that is, and see how I'm feeling about things. I think it is important to get to knock the dust off and get some competition in.
Yeah.
I had a question.
Yeah.
For you, Chris. So with getting older and maintaining muscle, has jiu-jitsu been able to do that alone, or do you also need to supplement with some weight training as you've gotten older?
Yeah, both. Yeah. I still need to hit once a week. I'm also changing my supplement. I'm doing everything I can to maximize my cellular machinery too, like mitochondrial health. I'm doing some new kind of stacks, so to speak. Like I'm hitting leucine, which is that branch, which is the big mTOR stimulator. I'm taking creatine. I'm doing everything I can to keep my lean muscle mass.
What's the main reason that you're maintaining the lifting? Like you said, once a week you're going to be doing
more of the
for maintenance,
not the lifting. It's not, but the strength training.
Yeah.
For maintenance, just to maintain that loading. I think jiu-jitsu gives me a lot, honestly. I'm wondering, as I change the way I approach it, though.
But because jiu-jitsu is, obviously there's strength elements to it that give us a strength workout, but it's heavy cardio as well.
Right.
Are you mixing in or keeping some strength stuff besides jiu-jitsu so you don't burn actual muscle and like maintain a certain level of strength?
Yeah, I want to maintain as much as I can. It's really important. Those people that are listening, even if you don't train jiu-jitsu, strength training is not optional for older people. If you want to,
hear that, Bill?
It's just not. It is not optional if you don't want to be completely immobile and are riddled with all kinds of joint problems and want to be functional into your old age. There's lifespan and there's health span, right? You've heard that, right? Yeah. The whole Jack LaLanne thing when he was 90-something years old, still doing 90 pull-ups. Right. And he went and then all of a sudden had this steep decline and died.
Yeah.
That's, what people want. They don't want this long, agonizing slide into where you're fragile. And
you mentioned creatine. I'm seeing more and more studies come out that creatine is extremely beneficial, especially for
as you get older.
40 and up.
Yeah. Yep. Big time. It's one of and we talked about this in our episode on supplements. It's one of our main ones that I definitely recommended. We're seeing more of it in gerontology, which is the science of aging and old people, basically. They have whole journals developed dedicated to them. We're seeing more and more in that area being published on creatine and lean muscle mass. Because when you look at all-cause mortality in old people, it is frailty is basically what causes it. I mean, they've done studies where grip strength is directly correlated to, mortality.
Right.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
I was just going to ask 2 questions. Yeah. One is, can someone who has issues with their kidney, can they consume creatine?
Okay.
And second one is with the leucine, directly just supplementing leucine, like taking like 3 grams. I think it's 3 grams you need to stimulate mTOR, right?
There's no, I mean, I typically take 3 to 5.
Like, do you have like an actual supplement of just straight leucine?
Yep.
Oh, okay.
Yep. NutriBio, I think is the brand I use.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. And then the first question.
The first question, the creatine. Anytime, if you have renal insufficiency or kidney problems, you should always, because not only creatine, but you'll have to look at protein intake and things like that, because that is where nitrogen is excreted in the body. Mm-hmm. But creatine does not, and this will piss me off, and every time I hear someone say this, I go after them. Creatine and protein do not cause kidney damage. Okay, I'll say that again. There's no research showing it causes it. But if you already have, for other reasons like diabetes, things like that, you already have renal insufficiency, you absolutely do need to watch your nitrogenous compounds with nitrogen in them. Okay, because that's where via urea that gets excreted in the kidneys. It's the way we get rid of nitrogen, and you can get into problems if you can't excrete it.
Okay.
Well.
Okay. So it's kind of like the cholesterol thing, a little bit, where this isn't the indicator of why you have high cholesterol is because you eat 6 eggs a day.
And what was fascinating, no, exactly. And something that was really that I love seeing is Peter Attia just was on, I forgot where he was on. He was on someone's podcast, or maybe it was his, talking about renal function and that whole BUN and creatinine and all that. It is a terrible way to look at kidney function. There's better ways coming up in the literature to do that, because if you have more muscle mass, it's throwing off your glomerular filtration rate. They have a whole thing that calculates. It's a calculation. It's not an actual measurement. And increased muscle mass will throw that thing completely off.
I see.
Okay, it's like BMI almost to that.
Gotcha.
Does that make sense? Ugh. All right, enough of my pontificating.
Liv, have you thought about this? Goals or anything?
Yeah.
What do you got?
Well, not as in depth as that, but
sure. Just throw a couple out there.
Let's see. So goals for 2023.
Uh-oh.
Okay. I'm saying it.
Here we go. Put it on paper.
Don't hold me accountable.
It's even worse. It's on.
Yeah, exactly. That's
podcast.
why we do this.
So my goals are to work on having an offensive guard. So trying to do more submission attempts. Or
to offend people in your guard?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just.
Yes.
A lot of racial jokes.
That's terrible.
And then.
I had more, but okay.
I know. And then also I want to work on sweeps because I'm terrible at them. I just am. I'm just bad. So working on sweeps and guard, offensive guard, and offensive.
Those both go together, don't they?
Yeah. And then...
especially because a mantra we've installed.
Like just installed in her?
Yes, is what? Always be closing. No. Always be... Say it.
Submitting?
Or...
Sweeping.
Yes.
Okay.
At all times.
So...
Attack.
And then, oh my gosh, I can't believe I'm saying this. Don't hold me to this, but
Too late.
I would like to try to compete this next year. So
that sounds incredibly non-committal.
It is incredibly non-committal.
I would like to consider watching a competition.
And then perhaps, potentially. Yes.
Yeah. Well, and then of course, other goals that support that is I like lifting weights. I do. I like doing it. So I'm going to keep doing that. And then as long as I can. And just keep building.
You can do that to the day you die, pretty much.
Yeah.
There's nothing. Keep moving weight.
Bill finds it incredibly boring, but I actually enjoy lifting.
If you guys would come over for like an FRS type session, I think you would really dig some of the stuff.
Yeah, probably,
and be more.
Engaged.
No, but it's. I think it's more fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Probably. I think I don't know. Whenever I have done any sort of strength training, I always lean towards the more high intensity, like no breaks.
Yeah.
Go.
Mm-hmm.
Get it done with. It keeps my mind busy.
Mm-hmm. I think you'd dig some of this because the results are tangible.
Right. Yeah.
And you can see them kind of on the mat too.
Yeah. Tangerine.
I like it. Yeah. Those are good goals.
Good goals.
Yeah. And then I'm going to read like 50 books this year. That's my goals for that.
She's going to go for 50.
She put Andrew on blast there.
I hit 39 this year.
She lapped him.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't know. He hasn't said how many. He might be reading up a storm right now.
He's not. He's reading Sapiens and he's struggling.
I got to admit, I got the Sapiens graphic novel version. I
Probably
did.
Better.
I love it.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I'm going to loan it to Andrew because he wanted to take a look at it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's a little bit of a heady book. Yeah. I mean, we're talking about Andrew.
Is it like a lot of facts?
No, but it's interesting. But you have to be for me, a book like that, you have to be, at least me, you have to be in the right mindset for that. Sometimes I look at it, I'm like, ugh.
Yeah.
Oh, I know.
I think that has to do with my freaking medical education. I'm just like, I can't. I just can't do it anymore.
I think it's, everybody goes through, if you're a reader, you go through spurts where you're like, right now, I'm loving like fantasy and dystopian sci-fi.
Totally.
But there's other times where I want a lot of like nonfiction, like historical or usually historical stuff.
That's a great goal. It always is a good goal. I think, but
she doesn't do audiobooks. Those are all full meal deal.
Yeah. It's not BJJ related, but
it's true.
I mean, I bring a book to the gym, so I guess it's kind of.
She does.
Oh, I know.
Yeah. You've seen her plenty of times.
Yeah.
When people are sparring and she's sparring with a book.
I got a good book I should tell you about.
Cool. Yeah, share with me later. We got to get to
Billy Boy.
So mine's not exciting, but I have a genuine fear every time I was promoted, and it happens even throughout the promotion, that I am the worst black belt in the room. At any room that I'm in.
Just stand next to me, dude. You'll be fine.
So when I got promoted, brown belt, purple belt, blue belt,
I know.
I always had this fear of like, man, I don't want to be the worst. I don't want to be the restaurant black belt. And so that makes it so like I've kind of been training a lot lately. Like, doing the 2-a-days twice a week. I have been taking Tuesdays off for the most part. I trained last Tuesday, but I still take Tuesdays and then like half the Sundays I take off. But, still training a lot because now that I got a black belt, I'm like, I am the worst black belt in the room. So I need to try to
Sometimes you're the only black belt in the room.
Then I'm definitely the worst.
And the best.
Right at the same time. And so I'm going to try to maintain the active training schedule that I have for at least this year.
Mm-hmm.
Another goal is I'm going to work on more fundamental and safe guard play. So what I mean is...
You stealing my stuff?
A little bit. A little bit. I want to be in you.
What?
I want to be you, is what I meant.
No, you don't. Either one. And I'm not going to allow the first one.
How do you feel about that?
I'm going to do a strong pass on the first one.
Does Carrie know, Phil?
Yes, actually, she does.
Okay.
She's got the camcorder.
Jeez, dude. I'm going to do Homer Simpson at this point.
So,
all right, please continue.
Yeah, I don't want to rely on dexterity and flexibility as much. And because I notice there is a certain style of grappler that just destroys me. I can do zero against it. And that sucks. And it's partly because is style. I mean, there's always stylistic matchups. Like some people do well with certain styles, and even though that's the toughest person in the room, and then they don't with others. And
that's that jiu-jitsu math, man.
Exactly.
Doesn't add up.
Jiu-jitsu MMA math doesn't add up. But Mason Fowler, Craig Jones.
Oh,
great example, right?
Yeah.
Is now obviously there's a caveat there, EBI rules, but Mason's done pretty well with Craig Jones. But anyways, so there's certain style that just destroys me, and partly because I play a reactionary game sometimes, and I also play a very baity game. So you feel like you're getting past, but I had a sneaky grip the whole time, and then I reverse it, and now I'm on top or something like that. I get crushed by people that are very methodical, not very super dynamic with like passing side to side and like outside jumping around.
I feel like you're making heavy eye contact with me. Not that I destroy you, but
if you get into your positions, you're destroying me.
But I mean, that's that kind of, or like in Aurelius game, right?
Aurelius, Andrew, Casey.
I think Jake has a good good game like that.
Andrew Jang, like
yeah.
Josh Haggerty. I mean, I could go through half the gym right now.
I know exactly what you're saying,
and just say half the gym just destroys me, and it's one of those things where I think I need to adapt to make it so maybe they'll still destroy me, but at least I can have a fighting chance. Because with all those people that I just named, I don't even feel like I have a chance at doing anything positive. Number two is I don't think there's a ton of longevity in the style that I play now out of my guard game. I think my passing is I could maintain that. But kind of like the Gordon mindset, which is he has a style that will last for the next 20 years, 15, 20 years, with maintaining a certain athletic prime, because he doesn't rely on a ton of dynamic athleticism, right? So I am going to work this year on adjusting that and not relying so much on being put in odd positions to thrive, fancier guards, flexible stuff. Like I'm going to kind of shrink it down into, I'm going to be working on some close guard. That's going to be a heavy start.
I feel like we need to train more together because you're like talking my language right now.
Yeah. Yeah.
No, seriously, because I a lot of the same things. But the cool thing is, though, Bill, you're going to work on that. It's great, but you still have that other stuff in your back pocket.
Sure.
It's just not, what you're saying is it's not going to be the forefront of your game just for long. Okay.
Yeah. Because I can just, let's say someone is in my close guard and they start trying to open it. I'll just open my guard and allow them to start moving.
Sure.
And just, they're going chest to chest on me. And the only thing in between us is my foot. And that's weird when you think about it. Like they're literally chest to chest, but my foot's up at my face, in between their face and my face.
Yeah, it's a bit odd. Outside of the adult film industry, it's very, very strange.
Right. And I'm comfortable there. But I know to rely on that is a little silly.
Well, that goes to my points I was making. I think that's a really good thing to look at right now for you. So you're not as you get in, because you're going to be 40 this year, right?
Yeah.
Getting into your mid 40s and all that, I think that's going to set you up very well for more resilience and longevity.
Right.
Yeah, I like it.
That's kind of the goal, because I want to be able to. Unfortunately, started later. You start at 45. I started at 34. But I still want to have like a solid amount of years of being able to have good sparring sessions and like
totally
have fun and be competitive and stuff like that.
Right.
So I'm going to be that's going to be a goal, is to not do because the other kind is fun to me. Like, inverting and doing weird positions.
When you're good at it too, so it's hard not to have fun when you're having success.
Totally.
Yeah,
and that's one of the reasons why I don't always roll with some of those guys that have those slower games that are just smushy, because it's not as fun. Simple as that.
Yeah. Okay. I feel you.
Like it's not that like I'm getting my ass kicked. I can have fun getting my ass kicked.
But I know exactly what to do with you too. It's just
Mo ragdolls me, but or Brian, black belt Brian, ragdolls, but it's like a fun scrambly ragdoll. It's like
Jake probably.
Jake has his moments too where he like opens up, but it's when people are just kind of like slowly. It's not that it's like compressing me.
I feel like you're looking at me.
No, you're fine. You're fine. With you, there's more of a strategic battle of like, if I can frustrate you to where you abandon your fundamental game plan, then I start moving you around and then I knock you over.
Yep.
But if you stay disciplined and like, for example, I recorded a video 2 days ago because it's Homolo Bahal versus Leandro Lowe. And Homolo is trying to pass, but they're in the very beginning stages where, and I've talked about this before, but Leandro has a very weak De La Riva hook with a pants grip, and then he keeps grabbing for a cross collar grip. Homolo is on his feet, very postured, and every time Leandro gets a collar grip, even down at like his belly level, not even up high, Homolo addresses it.
Yep.
It's probably a 30-second clip, and he breaks the grip probably 24 times.
That's amazing.
Boom. Leandro just goes right, boom. Homolo starts moving, nope, boom. Right? Every single time. I record it. I just remember that, Liv?
Yeah.
Yep. And it's like those kind of things that I want to bring into my game, that discipline. Because I'm going to want to like just start squirreling around and stuff like that, which means I'm going to get my ass kicked for the next year.
So that's a great point too.
It's going to happen because I'm going to be doing stuff that's super unfamiliar. If I'm in a position where I could just invert and like do something squirrely, I'm not gonna rely on my inversions in my A game. Yeah, I'm going to concede a little bit, and okay, now I'm inside. Someone got me in side control, and now I have to try to get out without once again. Like I want to build black belt level framing and stuff like that.
I know that exactly. The leverage, the frames, all that stuff. I'm gonna give you huge props if you're able to, because that is not easy to do, man.
Let me take a drink.
No, seriously. I know I give you shit a lot, and we back and forth, but and since very sincerely, that is very difficult when you have that in your arsenal. Not to use it when you could, and just to say, nope, this is what I'm doing, and I'm gonna get my guard passed. I mean, it's easy to say, but it's in the thick of it.
We'll see how well I do, because it's going to be one of those things where...
you're going to have moments where you abandon and do it.
Because people are going to be watching Bill get his guard passed.
But I think if, 80%
of
the time...
But who cares?
I know.
You're just going to get better by doing what you're doing here.
It's ego.
I know.
Remember Marcelo Wallace?
Yeah.
That's pride. I'm going with you.
That's right.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, yeah, the Butch thing. We had that whole thing with him.
You think exactly. And that's what I'll be battling with.
If you're going to do it, you would have done it already.
Yeah, exactly. and so that's going to be a big challenge, I think, through 2023.
Dude, I love it, man.
And then just, I hope to compete. I have Master Worlds on the radar again.
So now you could absolutely do Kyle Boehm absolutes.
He would not be Master 3.
I'm just joking.
Josh Hinger would. I think he's...
God.
I don't know if he's Master 3 yet. He might still be Master 2, actually.
No, I think he's Master 3, dude.
But and he's medium heavy, so he's only one division up.
Yeah.
But absolutely.
Look up Josh Hinger's age. I think he's like 36, 37 maybe.
Yeah, well, Master 3 is until 40.
Oh, okay. See, I'm so old. I don't even know where it is.
It was decades ago for you.
Yeah, it was.
So, but some of the other guys in there are very good. But, and I didn't say win. I said just show up.
No, totally, right?
I just want to do it because even at our local tournaments, I'm going to be competing against people I look up to, like Jan. Jan's in my division.
Okay, this does.
He's in my division too.
Josh Hanger's
middleweight.
30 years old.
Black. Yeah. Huh?
Josh Hanger's 30 years old.
He is not.
No.
I Googled it. It says he was born in 92. May 28th.
It's the wrong Josh Hanger.
It has a picture of him.
Oh my God.
That's incorrect.
Okay. I don't know.
He started jiu-jitsu
Wait, hold on.
I think he started when he was 30 or something like that. Like, maybe not that late, but
Maybe they just don't have him on here.
he did Master 2 last year. Or this year. He won middle heavy Master 2 at Master Worlds, which you have to be at least 35.
Okay.
But then
Maybe he was 34 in 2020?
Maybe.
Yeah, so I think he's 36 or 37 right now. That's what I thought he was.
Now this says age 40. What the heck?
Wow, that
There's
is just
no consistent.
Russia.
it's a bot.
Okay,
Yeah.
this says someone he was born in 82, not 92.
There we go.
So he's a year older than me, actually.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Shit.
So he is. There you go, brother.
Sweet.
Yikes.
Cool.
But even locally, like guys like Jan, he was a beast, man.
And I look up to that guy.
Totally.
As a black belt. So that's going to be just a challenge for my obviously skills, but I'm saying nerves to still go to the rev and, compete against those kind of people. That's going to be a mental challenge for me, not to back out and wuss out and find a reason not to. So a goal is to do a local tournament, do Master Worlds.
That's great.
So, and just show up.
Totally.
Get submitted in the first match, whatever. Just show up.
That's great.
Let's have a good time. You know what I mean?
I do. A matter of fact, I think we're gonna have to plan some vacation time around Master Worlds this year.
You probably should, because I think we're gonna have a nice little batch of people going.
I think that would be fun.
Well, and then this is an ADCC year, so
no, it's not.
Worry about going 2 weeks.
Right.
Later.
So it's same time period. September.
End of August.
Oh, end of August. Oh,
It's basically September 1st.
For sure.
3rd.
Yeah, we'll Carrie and I will arrange some vacation time.
So, and then one of the ways I'm going to try to develop some of the skills I was talking about, because that's the big goal, is I'm going to identify, or I have identified, a couple things. Guards. So, like I said, close guard. That's going to be something that Olivia's turned me on to, because she's already working on it, and I'm going to work on it. And just as simple, I'm starting out with emphasizing correct grips from close guard, off balancing from close guard. So you talked about having goals and then mini goals that are shorter term. That's going to develop into essentially every couple weeks, I'm going to address, okay, how am I doing? So every time I go to class, I'm going to have an emphasis on working certain grip structures from close guard, getting into close guard, and then off balancing when people try standing, when they try opening, and building certain off balances, kazushis, whatever, from that position. That's how I'm going to start. And then once I feel comfortable there, I will then move on to start potentially attacking.
I might want to, because that's a fundamental thing that I definitely want to work too. I might just work in with you if that's fine with you.
We are going off Hodger Gracie template. So that's kind of our...
that's a pretty damn good one to go off of.
Yeah.
Did you have more?
No, it's just, I was just wanting to encourage people that if they do have a legit goal on getting better, if you literally pick 1 year of your life here and you put stuff down like we're doing right now with the podcast, so people can hold us accountable. Hey, you didn't go to Master Worlds, you big fat lazy bitch.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Okay, you got me. Put it out there. I understand I'm not someone that puts out stuff about like what I'm doing or what's happened.
No,
right?
You're the opposite of that.
Yes, I'm quite the opposite. But there is something to holding yourself accountable, and whether that's putting it out there one time or just telling a couple close friends.
Yeah, I'll just play back the episode.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, dude.
Yeah,
no.
and it's whether it's writing down goals. That's like an old thing, right? Is putting like have some sort of organization to hold yourself accountable and to stay disciplined, because the biggest thing that drives people away from getting better quickly is they don't stay disciplined on the path. They waver from the path, whether it's they think that they can shortcut, or they get bored, or they just get distracted. Stay the path for 1 year, and you'll jump a belt level maybe, or you'll jump a tremendous amount of skill level.
Yeah.
And if your goal, once again, is speed and how good you're getting, you're going to have to do that. You're going to have to dumb stuff down. You're going to have to shrink jiu-jitsu down, and you're going to have to be disciplined. Your motivation is wavering. My motivation to have a six-pack wavers all the time when I drive by Henry's Donuts. Yeah. But
you're talking about your abs, not your beer.
I don't drink beer.
I didn't think so. That's
Son of a bitch.
I was just wondering.
Why you got to bring up old stuff?
I don't know.
So, but my discipline to help me not pull into that parking lot is what matters.
Right.
Didn't have discipline 2 days ago because I bought 3 donuts from Henry's.
Did you eat
That was
them?
yesterday.
That was Wednesday. Oh, it was yesterday. 2 jelly stuffed in a maple bar.
We don't know what day it is.
It's okay. You know, I have thinking back on these goals for you and I, Bill, I think we were a little short-sighted and maybe a little selfish too.
Maybe.
Especially as black belts, I really think part of our goal should be to get better as instructors. And
I don't really need that.
Okay. That's not what I heard when I taught your class.
I'll kill them all.
I'm just saying, I'm not going to name names.
Jeff Hess, you're dead.
No, it wasn't Jeff. So, and also coaching, which is an art form in itself.
Yes,
Now, if I ever get a chance to coach while you're sitting right next to me, faking that you're actually taking photos as like a journalist there, and then yelling at the guy I'm supposed to be coaching to go.
I can't hold back. To be fair, Andrew did the same thing to me.
He's our professor.
Doesn't matter.
Yes, it does.
Why?
Because that is his academy, dude. It does absolutely matter. That is his prerogative, dude.
He
if
did
he
it
wants
to Joel.
I don't care. If he wants to yank you up by your little hoodie and throw you out of the coach's chair and sit down, that is his prerogative, which he would never do.
Well,
but it's different.
It's a little different.
It's a lot different.
But still.
I like how you made fun of my look I gave you, too.
You're so sassy about it.
I was very sassy. I think I actually dismissed you with like a wave.
You did. You did. You gave me one of these. Sorry.
I was going to tell the ref, I'm like, this guy's faking being a journalist here.
Well, you should have been like, there was a Gracie Baja guy.
Yeah.
Because I did the same thing to, I think it was Jake.
While Jake was trying to coach?
It was Jake or Joel.
Uh-huh.
And I was taking some photos, and I saw an opportunity to say something. So I said it.
Yeah.
And then the Gracie Baja coach was like, how many coaches do they get?
Yeah.
How many coaches?
Yeah,
he starts
exactly.
yelling to the ref. You little biatch.
Well, he was right.
And then that guy, we were having back and forth the whole time. I don't mean to call him a biatch like I'm starting shit, but it was kind of funny that he
had a good point.
But it's funny because I see you doing that. How many coaches do we get? This guy, he needs to get pulled out of here.
And he's
your teammate?
Yeah, he's a real problem.
Get his ass
Get him out of here. He's a real problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. But anyway, no, and all jokes aside, I think that's also something, a goal is to constantly get better. You can get better at jiu-jitsu. Doesn't mean you're going to get better at teaching. Unless you
Isn't
teach.
that the truth?
Oh, man.
Actually, I just had a conversation today with someone that was recently promoted to the old brown belt. And his big goal for this year is, because he's never really gone down the road of teaching, and he has a very sharp game, but in his words, understanding and not just understanding, but knowing the why you do certain moves.
Yeah.
He wants to be better about that. He wants to be able to convey what he's doing, because he has a certain set of techniques that are very sharp, but he wants to be able to convey that, not just like, I do this and then it works. Mm-hmm. So that's his big goal for 23.
Well, not only is it gonna help the academy, it's gonna help him too.
Oh, I mean, tremendously. Because he pointed out, like, once I started teaching, he saw like a pretty big spike in acquisition of skill and understanding.
He took I said that on the podcast.
It didn't feel legit, though.
You don't think it was sincere?
Can I think about that?
Yep. You can.
Okay, I'll get back to you.
Yeah, those compliments I know feel weird.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't know if that's really a compliment.
Well, and so he, something he's going to do, and this is something that Andrew has put out there as a positive, is if you are an upper belt, try to, we know you've done this, you freaking little weirdo, is take some lower belts under your wing. Like,
no pun intended.
Yes. You pervy little freak. You want to, like, find a couple guys that you, like, are cool with and resonate with, and, like, help them.
Right.
Because you're partner with them during drilling. Don't always partner with your buddy that's a purple belt.
You're just saying don't make it into a cult.
I mean, if you cannot make it into a cult.
With, like, patches and stuff, right?
I mean, some people... You and your foot fetishes and your duck patches drives me nuts. It's literally ridiculous.
I feel like this has gone off the rails now. Where are we?
I think she's basically saying we're done.
So, grab lower belts and teach them.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying.
And send us your comments on what your goals are.
Yeah, I would love to know what some other people's like, and how you're going to do it. Like, what's your method to complete these goals? Because we can all just have goals.
It'd be like the gym membership in January, right?
Exactly. I'm going to join a gym. Okay. Well,
where are you in
next?
June?
Yeah. What comes next? What are you going to do to hold yourself to the fire? What are you going to do just as an maybe organizational system? How are you going to complete those goals? That's what I would like to know. Even if it's weight loss or something like that. Like, what's the plan?
And definitely send those in, because we find some good ones. We'll read them. I mean, because it just helps everyone. We're a community after all.
Yeah, for sure. Nikita sent me a picture of Tynan Dalper naked and said, "This is my goal for 23."
I don't even know what to read into that.
He really did.
It's very simple. Send comments to grapplingwithpodcast@gmail.com. Like and subscribe, please. Share stuff, all that good things.
Olivia just put the hook out. She's like, you guys are done.
Let's talk about naked grapplers.
All right. Peace out.